there is a moment, a very specific moment, when the human body realizes something terrifying. It realizes survival is no longer possible, not in an emotional way, not in a philosophical way, but in a purely biological sense. Cells stop negotiating, organs stop compensating, and the body begins switching from survival mode to shutdown mode. But here's the strange part. This realization doesn't happen when the heart stops. It begins minutes earlier. Deep inside your brain, your nervous system starts detecting signals that something irreversible is happening. And the moment those signals cross a certain threshold, the body starts preparing for death. Before we go deeper, subscribe if you enjoy videos that explore the hidden science of the human body and the strange biological processes happening inside us every day, because what you're about to learn is one of the most mysterious processes biology has ever observed. Let's begin. Stage 1. The brain detects catastrophe. Your brain is constantly monitoring the body, oxygen levels, blood pressure, carbon dioxide concentration, temperature, glucose levels. Thousands of sensors report this information every second. Most of the time, the brain adjusts quietly. Increase heart rate, slow breathing, release hormones. But during a fatal event, severe trauma, cardiac arrest, or massive blood loss, the signals begin changing rapidly. Oxygen starts falling, carbon dioxide begins rising, blood pressure collapses, and deep inside the brainstem, survival circuits activate. The brain realizes the body is entering extreme danger. At this stage, the body fights desperately. Adrenaline floods the bloodstream. The heart tries to beat faster. Blood vessels constrict to protect the brain. The body throws everything it has into survival. But if the damage is too severe, the next stage begins. Stage 2, the last adrenaline surge. In extreme situations, the body releases one final burst of survival hormones: adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol. This surge is powerful. It can briefly increase strength, alertness, and reaction speed. This is why some people in life-threatening situations perform incredible feats, lifting heavy objects, running faster than normal, reacting instantly. But this surge has a limit. Adrenaline cannot fix catastrophic damage. It cannot restart a destroyed heart. It cannot replace lost blood. And once this final surge fades, the body begins losing control of its internal balance. Stage 3. Oxygen begins to collapse. The human brain is extremely sensitive to oxygen loss. Within seconds of reduced oxygen supply, neurons begin struggling to function. Vision starts narrowing. Sounds become distant. Many survivors of near-death events describe something strange happening at this stage. Tunnel vision, a fading world. This isn't mystical, it's neurological. The brain begins shutting down less important regions. First, to preserve the most critical systems. Peripheral vision fades. Complex thinking slows. Only essential survival circuits remain active. But without oxygen, even those systems cannot survive for long. Stage 4, the brain's emergency power. When oxygen drops dangerously low, the brain activates a desperate survival strategy. It begins releasing massive amounts of neurotransmitters. Glutamate floods neural pathways. Electrical activity spikes. Some scientists believe this surge may explain the intense experiences people report during near-death situations. Time distortion, heightened awareness, even vivid memories. Brain scans of dying animals have shown something remarkable. In the moments before death, brain activity can suddenly spike to levels higher than normal waking consciousness. For a brief moment, the brain becomes hyperactive, almost as if it's trying to solve the unsolvable problem of survival. But this burst consumes enormous energy, and the brain is already running out of fuel. Stage 5. The body begins prioritizing. As oxygen continues falling, the body begins choosing what to save. Blood flow is redirected almost entirely to the brain and heart. Organs like the liver, kidneys, and digestive system lose circulation first. This is not random, it's survival triage. The body sacrifices less critical organs to protect the most essential ones. But if oxygen supply does not return quickly, even the brain begins to fail. Stage 6. Consciousness fades. The human brain requires constant electrical activity to maintain consciousness. When oxygen and glucose fall too low, those electrical signals weaken. Thoughts become fragmented. Memory processing slows. Awareness begins slipping away. This is why many people who experience cardiac arrest lose consciousness within seconds. The brain simply cannot maintain awareness without energy. Interestingly, many people report feeling calm or detached at this stage. Scientists believe this may be caused by the release of natural chemicals called endorphins. These molecules reduce pain and anxiety. The brain may be protecting itself from extreme distress. Stage 7, cellular shutdown begins. Even when consciousness fades, biological processes continue briefly. Inside every cell, mitochondria are responsible for producing energy. Without oxygen, mitochondria stop working. Energy production collapses. Cells begin losing their ability to maintain balance. Calcium floods into the cell. Membranes weaken, and the delicate chemistry that keeps cells alive begins unraveling. This process is called cellular hypoxia. It marks the beginning of irreversible damage. Stage 10, the quiet after. When the heart stops completely, blood circulation ends. Without circulation, oxygen can no longer reach tissues. Brain cells begin dying within minutes. Other organs follow gradually. The complex orchestra of systems that maintained life goes silent. But what's fascinating is that this process isn't instant. Even after clinical death, some cells continue functioning briefly. Tiny fragments of life persist for a short time, until eventually, every system stops. The strange truth about the human body. The human body is incredibly resilient. It can survive injuries, infections, starvation, and extreme environments. It constantly repairs damage and restores balance. But when death finally comes, it rarely happens in a single moment. It's a cascade, a chain reaction, a gradual realization inside the body that survival is no longer possible. And once that realization spreads across the body's systems, the shutdown begins, the final thought. For most of our lives, we rarely think about the complex biological machinery keeping us alive. Trillions of cells, billions of electrical signals, thousands of chemical reactions happening every second, all working together to maintain the fragile state we call life. But the moment the body realizes survival is no longer possible, those systems begin unwinding in reverse. Not suddenly, not chaotically, but through a sequence of biological events written into our physiology over millions of years. Life is an incredibly delicate balance, and the human body spends every moment fighting to preserve it.